Well, hello again. I'm Bill Russell, President of Lake Norman Chamber of Commerce, and we have another episode of Around the Lake. And today we have Douglas Marion, and Douglas is with Advanced Wealth Strategies, but he also is the incoming chair of the Chamber of Commerce. But before we get to the Chamber, Douglas, what is Advanced Wealth Strategies, and what are some of the products that you offer?
Sure. Advanced Wealth Strategies, I started just over 10 years ago here locally in Cornelius. We service all of the Lake Norman region, as well as, Charlotte and surrounding regions. We also have clients in probably 15 to 17 different states across the country. So a couple of years ago, when the pandemic hit, everyone went to Zoom. And so that allowed us to start moving our services around the country. But in short, Advanced Wealth Strategies is a financial planning firm. We're completely independent, and we're really comprehensive. So we offer investment management, just like most financial advisors. We also are fully licensed in insurance services. But the value add or difference of what we bring to the table is we operate everything under the umbrella of Uncle Sam. So we primarily do everything under tax planning. So whether that's looking at retirement or current portfolio management, we always try to eliminate taxes as much as possible. So we say that it's not really about what you have, it's about what you keep. So in short, Advanced Wealth Strategies is an investment management firm, but we also foundationally kind of operate around the planning first mentality.
And you talked about the market. You said you operate in a number of areas and you're virtual. So how many states would you say you're involved in?
Yeah, I think we're around 15 states now.
Okay.
I would say 90% of our clientele is here in the Lake Norman region, but we do have clients all around the country. As far as products we offer, we don't offer really specific products. We more or less offer our services. So we're independent. We work for our clients. We're licensed as a fiduciary, meaning legally we put our clients' best interest first. That's our priority. We work for the client. Well, we have large custodians like Charles Schwab or TD Ameritrade, companies like that. And then on the insurance side, we're licensed with dozens and dozens, upwards of 100 different carriers, whether that's someone that needs life insurance or annuities or long-term care or disability. We're licensed across the board. So we offer a lot of different services, but our main service is the planning, and the products fit in only when it is in the best interest of the client. And everyone knows exactly why they have specific accounts in their portfolios. A quick example of that is we find clients all the time that come into us from other firms, or maybe they've never had an advisor before. But we fully analyze their portfolio, their income plan, their estate plan, review beneficiaries. It's very comprehensive, but we work hand in hand with potentially their CPA or estate planning attorneys. We kind of take a team-based approach. So we've got 5 advisors on staff and a full operations team behind us. So we try to do as much as possible to eliminate or minimize taxation and to generate the maximum amount of income for someone throughout the rest of their life. And
Douglas, for somebody watching, can you share maybe who are the 5 advisors that you have on staff?
Sure. I've got myself and in I think it was 2017, early 2018, we added Jay Neal and Renee Simpson. And then in 2019, we added Cherise Spand, who's also a member of the Diversity Council with the Chamber. And then in 2020, we added Rich Jakiel, who's also been involved with the Lake Norman Young Professionals.
And you brought up Rich and the Lake Norman Young Professionals, and you yourself have been very involved. Share with everybody, what is the Lake Norman Young Professionals?
Yeah, so Young Professionals got started, I'd have to go back and look. I think it was 2013 or 2014. 8
years ago, yeah.
Yeah. And so I came to the very first meeting of that and have been involved since. I'm a little bit more passive now since moving onto the chamber board a few years ago, and going to be aging myself out soon as well. So it's a good organization that's a subchapter of the Lake Norman Chamber, but it gives a good place for young professionals. Typically what we say is age 21 to 39, whether they're working with chamber members or they're joining the chamber young professionals. Some people just use it as a social network where maybe they just moved here and they're working for a large employer and just want to get plugged into the community, or they're a small business themselves. Maybe they're a mortgage broker, a realtor, financial advisor, or a banker, and just want to get plugged into the community and build a network of like-minded peers, which also give back to the community a lot. They have a philanthropic arm of the young professionals where we give back to several different charities annually and host events to fundraise for local charities as well.
You mentioned the chamber board. You're going to be the 2023 chamber chair. Maybe share with us, what are some of the things you see us doing next year that might be a little bit different than 2022?
Yeah, so 2020 was obviously a pivotal year. We've had to continue to be resilient from 2020 and 2021. We saw a lot of growth coming out of 2020, hosting a lot more events in 2021 and 2022. My goal for 2023 is to continue building upon those events and get back to our 2018, 2019 levels. I think we're almost there. We've got great business after hours, great business mixers. The expo coming back this year was super exciting. I think we'll have more attendance even next year. Our golf tournament continues to sell out. So just maybe continuing to add a couple more new events to the chamber, but also expanding upon the programs and just continuing to build the overall membership of the chamber. We're a very, very healthy chamber in the Carolinas, with one of the largest chambers, but we've got a lot of small businesses right here in our community. And a lot of those small businesses still aren't in this chamber. And so just marketing and messaging and getting the word out there to how much the value the chamber can add to their small business and getting them involved in the local community and business network, just to help their business. We're here to help.
Douglas, I want to pivot back to Advanced Wealth Strategies. What do you think separates your particular agency from any other financial investor?
Sure. One thing is we're small. We're local. We're family owned, but we practice what we preach. We are growing at a great pace. But one of the things that separates us from the rest is that we're totally independent. We're not owned by any bank. We're not owned by any insurance company. We don't have to sell specific funds or specific products. Again, we do what's in the best interest of the client. And luckily, the last several years, that's been sort of nationally marketed, that, hey, you might want to look at, looking at someone that's independent, someone that's acting in your best interest, and maybe is not, I don't know, for lack of better words, stuck in a box. A lot of stuff we use is outside of the box in regards to tax planning, charitable planning. We even do tax deferred exchanges in commercial real estate. So we have a lot of different arms in our business to try to help our clients as much as possible. So I would say the primary thing that sets us aside is we're able to take a deep dive into the tax planning. I heard someone say one time, it kind of stuck out to me, is that investments are opinions and taxes are truth. So most people would rather save $1 in taxes than make $1 in the market, because it's yours. So again, it's not about what you have, it's about what you keep. So one of our other things that we primarily focus on is retirement distribution planning. So another analogy would be, we're all taught how to save and put money in our 401ks and IRAs and things like that. And I call that climbing up the mountain. So there's a lot of education out there of how to save and how to accumulate assets, but there's not a whole lot of education or focus on distribution planning or income planning, or what I like to call climbing back down the mountain. You can climb up the mountain very easily, but if you can't get back down, it's going to be a problem. So one of the things we focus on primarily for people that are approaching retirement is how to plan efficiently to get the money back out. So we ask folks, when are you going to retire exactly? And when you do retire, when are you going to turn on Social Security or your pensions, or should you do Roth IRA conversions in a low tax rate environment? How are you going to solve that gap of how much income you need versus which accounts are you going to take it from first and why? So that's some of the things that we focus on the income side that a lot of advisors, I feel, are lacking, where they're just managing the investments only, which is not a bad thing. There's plenty of good money managers out there. It's just you need an overall full plan for the rest of your life and how to maximize that efficiently.
Last couple of questions for you. Who in your life was the one that impressed you at your earliest stage about why was it important to save? Was it your mom, dad, grandparent? Who was that?
That's a great question. I don't know if I've always had it ingrained in me for some reason, but I remember a few years ago, my mom was digging up some stuff from, out of the attic or whatever. It's stuff she had saved, and she found a paper when I was in second grade. It said, when you grow up, I want to be whatever, and you draw it out and say what you want to be when you grow up. And most kids had, a firefighter, or policeman, or astronaut, or whatever. And the question was, if you had $1 million, what would you do with it? And even at that early age, I don't remember doing this, but I saw the paper and it said, if I had $1 million, I'd buy a bank, because that's where you get more money. And so I don't know if it's been ingrained in me for a long time. No one in my family came from the finance world. I mean, my mom worked in a bank for years, but no one in my family has ever been in the financial services world. So it was a new endeavor for me. I got started in that as an internship in college, actually. I think it was my freshman or sophomore year. I think it might have been sophomore year. I worked as an intern, and that's really what drove me into that, because originally I was planning to go into the medical field, and then a few years later switched to economics and business, and that's what I graduated with, and have honestly been in financial services ever since. I'm going on, this is just at 17 years.
I went to an event recently and you brought up college. They said, if you could go back to college and give your college self some bit of advice, what would it be? And I said, if I could go back then, I would say buy Apple.
Yeah, for sure.
Last question for you, Douglas. What do you enjoy most about the lake?
Well, I grew up in Statesville, about 20 minutes north. I've always been in the area. I moved to Cornelius in 2009. Been here a while. We really enjoy the lake, the community, the people. Everyone's, super polite. Just being from the South, that's what we get. But even around the lake, the vast majority of people that are here are not from here. But I feel like when people move here, whether that's from the Midwest or from the North, they almost change their lifestyle to accommodate everyone here, because we are a local community. We enjoy boating out on the lake. We get out as much as we can. We go to a lot of the local festivals, the chamber events. We go to concerts, stuff in Charlotte. I'll give a quick plug as well. We enjoy a lot of the local breweries. So my wife and I, and my brother and his wife are starting a brewery to bring some new experience to help revitalize the downtown Cornelius area. So that'll be breaking ground next year in 2023, and hopefully opening in early 2024.
Well, Douglas, thank you very much for sharing about advanced wealth strategies. And we want to thank Joe Vagnone, who's a local business broker, for presenting this program, and appreciate everybody who's involved in the Chamber of Commerce. And have a great weekend. And thank you for sharing, Douglas.
Thank you, Bill.